Hi, this is James Gordon I'm here with the third book in the Mutants Amok series. The book I'll be talking about today, Rebel Attack by Mark Grant under the penumbra David Biscoff. This was published by Avon Books in June 1991. This was a terrible sequel. I could not believe how awful this was when I was reading this last night. The first two books were a lot of fun to read. This one was not. It was the polar opposite. It was just fucking awful. I don't know what the hell David was thinking when he wrote this, but this is just like a terrible way to do the third book in the series. Unlike the other two, which have like it doesn't, like, this series does not take itself like too seriously. This is meant to be something you read for fun. This one decides to go completely in a comedic route. It's not funny. I don't like the jokes. The humor is not funny at all. And a whole bunch of other things that I really dislike with this book. And when I was reading this last night, I just couldn't believe how awful this book was. Another thing I was a bit puzzled by before I even read it is that this is not that thick as the first two. This is only 169 pages long. So I'm like, why is this one so short than the other two? And I really feel that David didn't even try to write a proper third book in this series. To me, I felt that he half-assed this one with a stupid plot that doesn't even tie in with the title of the book, Rebel Attack. When you see that title, you're thinking the Jack and Max and the others are going to attack some like mutant base that's critical to Ignatius Charming Sci-Fi and his mutant army, something like that. No, this has nothing to do with that. This is about some stupid mutant film that Jack's girlfriend Jenny is going to be part of, and it's up to the game to try to rescue her before she gets killed in this like snuff film. I thought, what the hell does this have to do with Rebel Attack? Seriously, what does this have to do with this? Nothing. And as I said, there's a whole bunch of other shit that I hated this book, and I was just so mad. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is this book so goddamn awful? Like, did David decide to try to be comedic with this next one? This is fucking terrible. Oh, I really am hoping that the last two books get a lot better after this, because this is just awful. One of the worst books I've read so far in this series. Ugh. Oh man, I read this entire thing in a single scene last night, and I wanted to throw this book across the room so badly because that's how bad it was. During my review, I'll explain the many issues and problems I have with this book, and overall I would just say skip this one if you're ever interested in doing this series. Like, Mutants Amok and Mutant Hell, those two were the best. This one just fucking sucks. Alright, on to the review. Plot. After escaping Mutant Hell base, Max Turkel is discovered by Jack Bender, Phil Potts, along with their Native American allies, Joe Bullfeathers and Jill Morningstar. They patch up his wounds along with giving him booze and a cigarette. Max tells Jack that Jenny isn't dead. She's been sent off to Hollywood to star in a mutant snuff film where they force humans to act out in movies, which leads to their grisly death, and rape any woman they use, then kill them. They plan to rescue Jenny along with any human prisoners. He gained this information after defeating Turok in a sword fight back in Mutant Hell. They fight off an army of mutants in the Rocky Mountains, then steal an armored RV, planning on reaching LA. However, Jill is butting heads with Max, which is causing friction between the two, with Jack trying to keep them working together. Max then offers a poker game to help settle things, despite that no money has ever been printed in a long time. During the game, Max becomes sick and vomits over the table, feeling a terrible pain. He then lifts off his shirt, revealing Hardin has become Max's new liver and dislikes the taste of alcohol, shocking everyone. Hardin explains he had himself inserted into Max's body after discovering a badly damaged liver, and to ensure Max kept true to his deal, and if he refuses, he'll cause him terrible pain. Hardin explains that the mutant who is running Hollywood is Martha Luther Khan, or known as Harry Khan, along with some other nasty mutants who are loyal to Ignatius Charming Sci-Fi and wishes to have them killed and destroy Ignatius' Hollywood business. With no choice, the gang must follow Hardin's orders, holding Max's body as hostage. Meanwhile, Jenny is being forced to tag along with Algie, a British mutant working for Khan and his disgusting mutant friends. They all stare at her beautiful body and grouping her breasts as she's powerless to do anything about it. Then during a party, things get worse when one of the mutants vomits over the dinner table as a sick joke. Then another one shows off a Thompson submachine gun and kills another mutant with it, causing a massive amount of blood splatter, which sickens Jenny. Unknown to Khan and the other mutants, plan to kill her in their upcoming mutant film, Blade Babes of Bayonetta. However, there's a rivalry going on between the American mutants and British mutants over greed, control, and who gets the better woman. After driving through 3 hours of half-sea and mutant traffic, the gang finally reaches LA. The city looks awful, with the smog levels very toxic as they have to remain inside the armored RV. However, they need an extra hand. Max knows a guy who can aid them. They go visit Joe Brown, a half-sea who is a Elvis Presley impersonator. They step inside his place with Elvis memorabilia and a style in the 1950s. When they explain the situation they're in, Joe isn't interested as he nearly died in a few times while helping Max out in the past. However, Max is able to bribe Joe into helping them. The gang races towards Hollywood to rescue Jenny from being executed on this ultra-violent film while battling against the most richest mutants in Hollywood. Rebel Tag is one of the worst sequels I've ever read. From its strange and dumb plot, turning most of the main characters, Jack, Max, Potts, and Jill, against each other, as these people spend more time arguing and bickering with each other than fighting mutants. The stupid drama between Jack and Jill over who's getting him when his girlfriend is still alive, I would have rather have Jenny dead. Later on, Jill says a very nasty remark on Jenny, to which I would wanted to punch her for saying such a mean word. She went from a cute yet tough Indian woman to a heartless bitch. Dislike the whole Hollywood plot of Jenny being used as a human star in a mutant film while being forced to hang around the most grossest and disgusting mutants as they show their cruel lifestyle, even killing one of their own for their own sick amusement. I also dislike the vomiting scenes. The mutants are gross enough as it is. These vomiting scenes didn't need to be added. Felt it was silly how Hardin attached himself to Max's body, as this felt like something right out of a cartoon. The numerous pulp culture references got annoying to read, and dislike how the Hollywood mutant characters were all based on actors, politics, and other well-known celebrities. Just didn't feel creative. It felt very lazy and not being original. And the subplot of the British-American mutants fighting each other just wasn't interesting. It just felt like unwanted filler. While there is good detail with some nice scenery, it isn't enough to save this shitty sequel. The whole tone of Rebel Attack felt more comedic, with bad humor, scenes that weren't funny, with the story getting worse the further I read. And towards the end, the gang goes from one misadventure after another to the point where it was just making me angry. And when they finally reach Hollywood and go to rescue Jenny, it was all for nothing. Lastly, what does the title have to do with this plot? Rebel Tag makes me think Jack, Max, and the others are going to raid a highly secured mutant base, kill high-ranking mutants, and destroy Ignatius Charlemagne Sci-Fi's army. But no, this novel has nothing to do with any of that. Just a stupid action comedy that doesn't even feel like it belongs in this series. It felt so half-assed while reading it, making me question what the hell was David thinking when he wrote this. And seeing how short it was like he didn't even try to write a solid third novel at all. This is not how you do a sequel to a men's adventure series like this. If David kept the serious tone more action-packed and less on the comedic side, along with throwing in all the goodies, but most importantly having it tied to the plot of the previous novels that I enjoyed, and not bring back Jenny, as her tragic loss is what pushed Jack into revenge and becoming a better character. Overall, this is just an awful sequel, and I do not recommend it. The first two novels, Mutants Amok and Mutant Hell, were 100 times better than this shitty sequel. Just skip it if you ask me. Alright, that's for the video today. Hope you enjoy, and as I said at the beginning of the video, this book was just fucking terrible. I could not believe how bad this was. Like, this series isn't meant to be taken seriously. This is something like you just kick back and you read it and you just enjoy it and have fun. That's what Mutants Amok is about. It's just like a series that's meant to be fun. This book, Rebel Attack, was not fun at all. It was fucking awful. So at the beginning of the book, it starts off with this scene where these humans are being forced to act out in this mutant film, which gets them killed. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then when it gets back to the main characters, they're all separated, as it reveals that they're all working together to trying to steal this mutant armored RV so they can use it to reach Hollywood. And right away I noticed that the tone of this book is shifted into a different direction, and I do not like this direction where it's going at all. I noticed right away that most of the characters are arguing and bickering with each other over the stupidest things. Like, what is this? What's with all this drama? Like these characters, like in the beginning of the book, like they were working together as a team. Now they're just like starting to turn on each other. It's like, what the hell is this? And the worst is when Jill starts butting heads with Max for no reason. It's just like, what is going on here? First, she's bitching about Max's age, and then saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be drinking so much or smoking so much. It's not good for your health." Like, what the hell is this shit? What is this doing in this book? What is this? And then, like, Jack is trying to keep these two working together, and then Max decides, hey, let's have a poker game to settle things, and everyone's like, we don't got any money. So they're forced to use other items, which is this really awkward scene. It's like, you got into the RV, you're making your way to California, and now you're going to waste time by playing a stupid poker game? Like, what? And then during this scene, Max becomes suddenly sick, and then he vomits over the table, and then it's revealed that he's got Hardin attached to his liver in this really scene. I swear that felt like something out of a cartoon, where Hardin attaches himself and becomes his liver, so that way he can ensure that Max keeps true to his deal, and if he refuses, he'll just cause him terrible pain. And this, I just felt, was like one of the dumbest things I've read. Like, seriously, this is how Harlan's gonna know that Max is gonna keep true to his deal or not. I was like, really? You could have like had like something else attached to Max, or I just felt really stupid. I thought Hardin was gonna appear later on in the book, but no. Instead, he's. I just can't wrap my head around how stupid this is. A mutant brain general is able to get himself attached to a human body part. I just felt it was so stupid. It was just so essentially now he's holding Max's body hostage. Now they have to go out and dispatch these mutants out in Hollywood, as they're loyal to Ignatius Charlemagne 75, and destroy his Hollywood business. Which honestly did not really feel like it tied in with the book at all. I thought this is really off to a weird start. And the further I read more of this book, the worse it got. And then it follows Jenny, who's now hanging around this British mutant Algae, and she's being introduced to all his weird and disgusting friends, which I hated all these mutant characters. Like, they're just really just grotesque and disgusting. And then the parties they have are like really bizarre. They're chugging like champagne and booze. They're just shoving their faces full of food and then vomiting over the table as some sort of sick joke. And then later on, one of them shows off a Tommy gun he's got, and then he kills a random mutant for the hell of it. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I absolutely hated the numerous pop culture references that were being shoved into this book. Like, I don't mind a pop culture reference here and there, but this book was just like I felt like it was like force feeding me all this pop culture references. I just felt it did not tie in to the series, and to me it just did not feel creative at all. Now that like I felt the author was being lazy, it's just like I'm gonna make a bunch of mutant characters based off of actors, politics, and all these other well-known celebrities from the past. I was like, this is awful. So when they finally reach California, they're forced to go through a 3-hour traffic jam before they can finally reach the Hollywood. I am not kidding. There is a part in the book where they're forced to go along traffic, and Max warns them not to take any shortcuts because Los Angeles is crawling with mutant gangs and all this other shit. And like, you got an armored RV with guns and rockets on it. Use that to blast your way through this goddamn traffic jam. Like, this is stupid. And then later on, they go meet this half-C who's the Elvis Presley impersonator to aid them on their mission. After convincing this half-C to join their team, they go back to their armored RV, and their tires are stolen. And it's like, you could have just kept on driving and you would have been there by now. So then they have to use his car, and then there's a part where they encounter a mutant gang, which they are forced to use half up their ammunition, and then um, the Elvis impersonator, Halfsey, gets killed off. And I thought, what was the point of adding his character if you're just going to kill him off? And then when they finally get to Hollywood, I was thinking, okay, is this going to turn to like a part where they just assault the like Hollywood studio and they just basically massacre the whole place, killing all these like mutants there? No, that doesn't happen. When they get there, they kill a guard, and then they hold another mutant celebrity at gunpoint, and then he tells them where Jenny is, and then they go find her, and they take on like Harry Khan's men and stuff, and it's like, what? But spoiler, this is where I really want to throw the book across the room. When they find Jenny, she's lying unconscious on a table after being through like one hell of a movie shoot, and Jack goes to help her, and Jill literally says this after they find her. Jill looks at Jenny and calls her a cow. And I thought, if I were Jack Bender right there in the book, I would have turned around and punched that bitch in the face for saying something like that. It's just awful. Like, this character, Jill, went from this cute, tough Indian girl to this just mean woman, to this mean, heartless bitch. Like, what the hell is your problem? Seriously. I didn't even like the idea that Jenny was still is alive. Is really felt awkward, because in the second book it was stated that she was it's stated in the first book that she was killed off, and then the second book confirms this, and all of a sudden she just pops up like nothing happened. And I was like, what? So after the gang goes for all this trouble to rescue her, it's all for nothing, because now Jenny's decided, I'm going to stay with my British mutant Algie, as I love him more than Jack. And I was like, you know what? If I was Jack Bender, I would kill both Algie and Jenny at this point, because this was stupid. Oh, I really don't know what the hell David was thinking when he wrote this book. This is just fucking awful. I'm gonna what's for the next book. I am not gonna have it like over the top, violent, action packed like the first two. I'm gonna now make this more comedic and funny, as this would be a better idea. It was stupid. Oh. This book had nothing I liked with it, nothing. I absolutely hated how the characters are now butting heads with each other. They're arguing over the stupidest things. The whole Hollywood plot, and then the subplot of the British and American mutants clashing with each other wasn't interesting at all. There was just nothing I liked with this book. And I seriously felt this had nothing to do with the previous two novels. Like, this had no like connection to those other two books. This is just like unwanted filler. This third book just really feels like an oddball in the series. Like, what does this have to do with Mutants Amok and Mutant Hell? Seriously, what does this have to do with those two books? It doesn't have anything to do with those two. It just felt like it seriously felt like David just basically decided to write like the shittiest sequel he could, like, deliberately, and the publisher just like, okay, we'll publish it. Yeah, overall, this was just a terrible sequel, and I really am hoping that when I go to read the next one, Holocaust Horror, it'll be a lot better than this third book was, and feel more connected with the series. This one felt like an oddball series. Like, reading Rebel Tag made me think of the terrible sequels I've seen in movies. One of the worst things I hate seeing in a sequel is when the first film is like rated R, and then the next one gets a PG-13 sequel. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. There's been a couple films where this has happened. Conan the Destroyer. Even though I didn't like RoboCop 2, I did not bother watching RoboCop 3, because that is a PG-13, and I know any R-rated film series that has a PG-13 sequel is going to suck automatically, so I avoid those. And this is what it felt like. It seriously felt like that. This is what it felt like. It felt like the third one was completely toned down. The whole thing felt like all the things that made the series fun was completely taken away, instead replaced with these stupid comedic elements which were not funny. All the over-the-top action violence is completely cut out, and instead it's focused on stupid drama, unwanted filler, and a bunch of other shit that I don't care for. And that's what this third book felt like. And I was like, what the... Seriously, what was David going with this book? This is just terrible. Oh, man. Oh, so yeah, I just plowed through this entire book last night as it was that bad. So overall, if you're interested in checking out the Mutants Amok series, just stick with the first two books. Skip the third one entirely. It's not worth reading at all. Alright, that's the review today. Hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our library new channel where I post book reviews, book hauls, and our fiction-like content. Until then, I'll catch you later.